Every club.
Every day.
The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello, and welcome to the Daily Arsenal Podcast, brought to you as part of the Global Sports Podcast Network. It's Monday, but there's no game to review. It's been quite a quiet few days for Arsenal, quite blissfully, because there's been some really weird, chaotic games going on, especially in the FA Cup. So, without a game to review or anything to really look forward to until the weekend, we thought we'd bring you something special. And when I asked around for ideas of a special episode, our very own Joshua Duncan came up with a particularly Joshua Duncan suggestion. He wanted to make a most hated 11. That is, the most hated players from every position making the most despised team on the planet. So we thought, why the hell not? That could be a good old laugh. So, here to do it, I'm your host, Josh Vince. I'm joined by Joshua Duncan himself and Craig Matthews. Gents, welcome to the show today. Josh, what inspired this for you? What gave you the thought to come up with the most hated 11?
I don't know. I think we've got quite a few we can pick from. We've had, some of our players departing. They have made a memorable departure. I'm not going to say any names now. But so I just thought we needed an idea since we're out of 2 cups, and let's just give him an idea.
No, I love it. I love it. And I feel as though the thing is, we make a big deal of it, of Josh, being sort of like very angry all the time. He's actually he's a delightfully happy, nice human being. But it is quite on brand for him to come up with this idea, I thought. And Craig, how are you feeling about spitting footballers' names out of your mouth in hatred for half an hour?
I love it. It'll be fun. Some of them we love to death, and some of them just betrayed us so much that we had so much ultimate hatred for them. So, their choice, isn't it?
Let's put it this way: if you enjoy pettiness and angry men, you've come to the right place. So, we're going to do it as we do every Ultimate 11. We're going to start with the goalkeeper position. Now, Josh, it was your idea, your inspiration. Have you got a name for a most hated goalkeeper?
For this position, I kind of struggled because there's no one I really, really hate. There's no one Arsenal fans I don't think we hate, but I have to pick Lehmann. There's a something about him I don't like him. Like the end part of Lehmann, he made loads of mistakes, and he's not really hated, but I had to pick somebody. So this is a personal opinion for me. Yeah, he's got to be up there.
Okay, so you're looking at Jens Lehmann there. Okay, yeah. Craig, we were talking about this before the pod. Who are you picking, Craig?
Manuel Almunia. I'll give my reason why. The Champions League final against Barcelona, he had one job to do: save that Belletti shot and let it go through him. I'll never forgive him for that shot. He could have saved it, man. He should have saved that shot.
I do have to agree with Josh that Lehmann did get more, accident prone as time went on. But ultimately, let's be real, right? Let's be honest. Almunia was a nightmare. He was a mess of a player. So, Almunia, goalkeeper. That's easy. We're agreeing straight out of the bat. I like that. It's all good. Now, we're going to go across the line now. Craig, right back.
I struggle with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Right back. Who's the worst hated Arsenal right back? Even though I liked him at the club, but the fans did boo him off one game. I don't know if you remember. He got subbed on, then he got subbed off. If you remember that player, Emmanuel Eboué, he got
Eboué.
He got absolutely. I don't hate him, but the way the fans abused him after the game, he made him. I think he came on to sub, and he got subbed back off. So he's the only one I could think of, or maybe. Hold on. Maybe Cedric. I think Cedric.
Do you think Cedric was hated, or do you think he just didn't play?
He was just rubbish. He was just rubbish.
What about you, Josh? Where did your mind sort of leap with this one?
Again, I was getting confused because I wanted to put someone that was rubbish there. So if it was my personal opinion, I'd have put Justin Hoyt there.
Yeah, of course.
But he wasn't really hated. He's not someone that's hated by Arsenal fans. He's just rubbish. So I have to go Eboué. I mean, that one game, you got booed off. You know what I mean? It's he's a nice guy, and he had that horrible divorce with his wife.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah, it was.
Jesus.
You guys are cruel, man. You're not laughing at the guy.
I know, it was brutal. We all burst into laughter. It was horrible. But I think you're right. If there is the thing is, Arsenal fans, we have a reputation for, managers out, players out, everything like that. We've got a bit of a reputation for that. But when it comes to players, we don't hate them as much necessarily.
Yeah.
But if you're a player who gets booed off in a game, I think you immediately earn a place.
Yeah.
In this starting 11.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the centre backs, and there's one name that springs to mind, not hated by Arsenal fans, but hated by fans from across North London. Would you think about putting him in there? For that reason?
Sol Campbell.
I'm talking about Sol Campbell.
No way.
As a hated footballer. That's not as by Arsenal fans, but he was a hated footballer.
Only Tottenham fans hate him.
Yeah. I think another defender I'll put in there that's been hated by. He's a London bicycle. He goes to every London club. William Gallas. He was hated by Arsenal fans.
He's on my list.
He was absolutely despised as William Gallas.
William Gallas, I would say. I think William Gallas because he moved from Chelsea to Arsenal, then he moved from Arsenal to Tottenham. He just did the London rounds. Like
he's just a turncoat, just a pure turncoat. Was Gallas. I mean, Josh, your eyes lit up when he said the words William Gallas.
Yeah, he was on my list 100%. Centre back. William Gallas, I think it speaks for itself.
Thing is, there's a lot of centre backs that we've had that are pretty crap recently, but it's the question of do we hate them?
Yeah.
Now, there's one that I would throw out that I think I certainly do not like. I wouldn't necessarily go as far as to say I hate him, but I definitely don't like him, and that'll be Laurent Koscielny.
He's my second choice.
Yeah, I agree.
The disrespect with the way that man walked out of the club. My word.
Yeah.
Like, it was out of order, man, wouldn't it, Josh?
Yeah, but I think he had an agreement with the club to leave early, and I think they didn't honour it. I think that's why he did it. But, to take the shirt off like that, and, I mean, not like, when did he go to, is it Bordeaux? Yeah, like, he was Arsenal captain. He messed up he was kind of a legend at the club, a little bit. He was a guy, I thought he was a bit unlucky. I think if he had another centre-back partnership, another partner that was better than Mertesacker, I think he'd have been all right. And then he was a captain, and to do that as an Arsenal captain, you're bang out of order in my book.
Isn't it mad how of the two of those players, Mertesacker has become the legend at the club? One of our key administrators in charge of the youth programme, everybody loves him. It's Big Pear, and it's not Laurent. I mean, Craig, are you sold on Koscielny as well?
It was him and Mustafi, but I think Koscielny the way how he left Arsenal was wrong, man. Like he could have left him on better terms. So I'll say, listen, Mustafi, he scored against Tottenham a couple of times, so I'll give him a little blind there, not too much, but a little blind. But I think Koscielny, I agree with Koscielny, man.
I mean, let me just put one more in there, just to spice things up ever so slightly, because people did hate him. Sebastian Scalacci.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But he was just more rubbish.
Yeah, he was more rubbish, to be fair. So we'll stick with Koscielny, because I think that's a very, very solid shout. Now, gents, who would we put at left back? Who could it be?
Ashley Cole.
Yeah.
No, I was going to go, cliche or something. No, of course it's Ashley Cole. Like, there isn't a debate, really, is there?
Yeah.
Have you seen, Josh, recently, the thing that he did? I think it was on the Peter Crouch podcast?
Yeah.
What did you make of that? Because effectively what he was saying was, I can't even remember exactly, but he was saying it was the club who caused the problems and that he would just responded as any other person would do. It's something along those lines, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think they didn't honour the agreement they had, something along them lines. And I still, to go to Chelsea, and especially when we're in our transitioning period as well, we're moving to the Emirates. We didn't have the best season that season as well. I think we finished fourth, and we just come out the Champions League final. yeah, I think the way he did it and did it behind closed doors, meeting up with Mourinho secretly, it's you just don't do those things as a football player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was sly, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That was the main thing with Ashley Cole, is it was sly. I mean, it's one of my earliest memories, genuinely, is being in my granddad's living room and seeing the paper with Ashley Cole in a Chelsea shirt on his back, and just being like, and not fully understanding what was going on, but just being like, there's something wrong with this picture. What is it exactly? Right, that's it for our first section. We have our first 5 players of the Arsenal's most hated lineup. It is Manuel Almunia in goal, Emmanuel Eboué, Laurent Koscielny, William Gallas, and Ashley Cole. Join us after the break where we talk about something that could send real fireworks out, the midfield. We'll be back just after this break. Here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spend a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr. And welcome back to the Daily Arsenal podcast. We are discussing the most hated Arsenal 11. We've got quite a team so far, quite a arguably well-despised squad. So, next up, Craig. We are in the midfield. We're kind of going for a 4-3-3, but if we feel like moving it, we'll move it, whatever we fancy. Craig, starting off with the midfield, who would you like to submit for the most hated Arsenal 11?
He was our captain, man, and the way he left, and then he went to Chelsea afterwards. Like, I don't know, man. When he did get booed when he first came back to the Emirates, said Fabregas, but I don't know. That's a very divided opinion. I don't know. I could think of another one. He could play centre. I think Samir Nasri.
Okay.
Samir Nasri, yeah.
So I would be more inclined to agree with you on Samir Nasri than Cesc Fabregas personally. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, so I had Nasri on my list here. I was swinging on Fabregas, but I didn't really hate him because we had that buy option and we could buy back from first, and Arsenal didn't trigger it. So it's not really his fault, He just went to the next available team, So
yeah, exactly. And Samir Nasri, he left for City, where realistically, we could probably have argued Gael Clichy a little bit as well, sort of like the left back. But I mean, Ashley Cole was the obvious one. But those players who left to go to City and went on and did those things with that team had effectively originally just going for the money. Like, I think there's a lot of animosity held on for that. Whereas we sold Fabregas to Barcelona because he was a Catalan lad, and it was more of, I think, with Fabregas, you've been amazing for us. We wish you would stay, but go and do what you want to do. Because it was an open secret. He wanted to go back to Barcelona at some point, wasn't it? So I think that's where sort of like the resentment possibly ebbs off. What about you, Josh? So we've got Samir Nasri down. Any other suggestions for midfield?
He doesn't really play centre mid.
Midfield.
Midfield.
Call it midfield, yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably say Alexis Sanchez,
Oh, I was thinking about Alexis Sanchez. Okay. Give us your reasoning.
I guess, don't get me wrong, I think in the time, he wanted to win games, but he did upset the dressing room a lot when in last season with Arsenal. And he just a bit of, I can't say the word I wanted to say. He's just a bit of I don't know what to say now. He's a bit confused.
Yes. Yeah. He was a little bit all over the place.
Yeah.
And he was an unsettling presence, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What do you guys think to the suggestion of Granit Xhaka?
Ooh,
that divide opinion, because
exactly.
He was a captain, and then I think he got subbed off by, was it Emery? Emery was the manager at the time, and he threw his armband in the air and he started swearing at the fans, and the fans turned against him. But I think Arteta, when he came to manager, he kind of restored his love for the club, because he kind of played outstanding toward the end of his time at the club. But some Arsenal fans still have that hold a lot of resentment towards him. I think for what he did that time. So yeah.
That's why I ask, because he is a contentious figure. Because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it was only 4 or 5 games that he'd been captain that he
Mm.
swore at the fans, and then
Yeah,
Yeah.
effectively
yeah.
Emery came out and said he'll never play for the club again. But then, obviously, Arteta has this whole... effectively, he reinvents him and brings him into becoming one of our most important players the season before he left, and then he went on to go win a league with Bayern Leverkusen. So would you say then, Josh, he wouldn't class as hated, or do you think he's arguably in there?
For me personal, I hate him quite a bit. To be fair,
I can see
think,
that.
yeah, we struggle with this guy. I think he gave us what maybe 2 seasons that were pretty decent, you know.
Mm.
And then throwing the captain armband, that's disrespectful, man. You know what I mean? I know you, and you know, people pay, you know, a ticket. We discussed it last podcast. Ticket prices are quite high, you know, and you're paying badly. You know, you get booed off. That's part of the game. As long as no one's been abusive or, you know, like Curtin and his family or anything like that, you take it on the chin. You know, if anything, do better. You know, that's it. So him to throw the captain armbands is bang out of order. You know what? You know what? He did change opinions, but I'll put him there too, actually.
I was just about to say, Josh, I think you've talked yourself into
Yeah,
it.
I was thinking about it. I remember watching the game, I was getting annoyed. And I was just like, I remember the mum watching, I was like, what's wrong with this guy? I was like, yeah, he's in there. He's in there for me.
I've never watched a person argue themselves into something more than Josh just argued himself into that belief system. I only ever have one other name suggestion. I'd love to know if you two have any others as well. Guendouzi was not a popular man at the Emirates. Matteo Guendouzi, I mean, he wasn't there long, so I'm not sure if you could argue he is properly hated, but he was not a popular man when it came to the fans, was it, Craig?
Nah, not really. No. I think the incident happened when he got into a fight with Morpay at Brighton. I think he got into an argument with Arteta after that. He just started down in tools. I think Arteta had enough and got rid of him. So, but there's another one I think we forgot about, Alex Son. The way how he left Arsenal to go to
Oh, yeah.
Barcelona.
Yeah, for the
Oh,
money. Yeah.
oh,
There's him,
yeah.
and there's Hleb as well. The way how he
Yeah,
left Arsenal.
Haleb, yeah.
Hleb was our best player, best centre mid at the time, and he went to Barcelona. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of them that I can remember from that era. So
The problem with Hleb and Song is that I've pushed that memory into the back of my mind and tried to forget it because they gave us so many beautiful moments.
yeah,
But you are right. Oh God, Hleb! I loved Hleb so much when he was an Arsenal player too.
Yeah.
So
and Flamini as well when he left on a free to go AC Milan. He did
Yeah,
come back in the end, but he's
I
another one
don't
that left on
I don't
free
blame
time.
Flamini as much because he had the 2 stints at the club. I think that was
Yeah,
I don't hate him for that necessarily. So at the moment we have Granit Xhaka, Samir Nasri, and Alexis Sanchez, but those are some good names thrown out. Do you think any of those that Craig mentioned have an argument to be put in?
Yeah, Alex On does, and Haleb do as well. But the only thing is, with Haleb, he did say he regretted leaving Arsenal at the time.
Yeah.
So that for me gives him a little oblige. And I think Song did the same thing. And he kind of explained that, like, look, man, you know, the money, you know, he has a poor family and a lot of people to feed. So he gave a bit of a sob story, and you'd be, all right, fair enough. You know, at the end of the day, you still got families. I don't know what your personal life is, and if you need the money that bad, you know. So they just don't make it just for me.
Just about, yeah. I think
yeah,
they left us with so many good memories as well, and they were
definitely.
so good. Like
Yeah,
Samir Nasri was good, but he was never at the level that those two were at, and he left
Yeah.
with more of a stink.
Yeah,
So
he
I
did.
think he deserves to be in there, rightfully. To hell with you, Samir. We don't want your apologies. Stay in Manchester. Right, that is it for the midfielders. When we come back, it's time to talk forwards, and I think there's one that we'll probably say right at the beginning and have one of the positions done without needing
Yeah.
another word. So we'll be back just after this break. This podcast is part of the Global Sports Podcast Network, the only network bringing you exclusive daily news and views on your Premier League team, the Premier League, women's football, and fantasy football. A unique listening experience that puts fans first, bringing you the very latest breaking news from your team. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and make us your first listen every day. Global Sports Podcast Network. Every club, every day. And welcome back to the Daily Arsenal podcast. We have been discussing the most hated Arsenal 11. So far, we have quite a squad, and we're gonna give you the whole list when we finish these last three positions, which are the forward positions. Now, gentlemen, does anybody have a name that they would like to throw forward who might be a hated Arsenal ex-forward?
I got two.
You got
Yeah.
I got two.
Let's go for one of yours first, Craig. Who have you got, Craig?
Emmanuel Adebayor.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we'll probably come to this, but what I want you to think about all of these players, who is the most hated of this list? Because I think that man has a strong case to make.
He does.
I mean, when you run the entire length of the pitch to celebrate scoring a goal against your own team, it doesn't get forgotten easy, does it, Craig?
Nah. But he said in an interview that they were abusing his mom and dad, saying some horrible things about his mom and dad. So I'm not making excuses for him, but it wasn't the way how he left Arsenal was not handled right. Like, he said that Arsene Wenger got rid of him, didn't want him at the club anymore, and sold him, but he should have been more respectful. Because Arsene Wenger when he gave him a chance in the Premier League, no other top man the club went for him when we bought him. They bought him quite cheap. I think about 7 million paid for him from Monaco. He didn't do well in his first season. I think it was when Henry left, it's when he started to score a lot of goals for us. If you remember correctly, he was very slow starter, but then he started becoming good, and then we sold him, and it was very good for us. And then, yeah,
that was back in the day when we sold all our good players rather than hanging on to them.
Yeah.
I remember those years incredibly, not fondly. I mean, the thing is, he did come out, it's true, and said that he was being abused a lot. Obviously not pleasant. No one should be abused at their place of work, but you listen to any football pitch and any football set of fans, abuse is something that happens constantly. And he's the only reaction I've ever seen like that.
Yeah.
So Emmanuel Adebayor, I thought he was going to be the first name mentioned. He goes straight into the final 11. Josh, you said you had a couple. Who else have you got for us, my man?
Just to add on Adebayor as well, he did play for Tottenham. He did play for Tottenham.
Exactly.
For me, that's what put me in there. Because I did feel sorry for him, little sob story and things there. But we did go play for Tottenham. Like, come on. Like, it's not like Tottenham are a good team. Do you know what I mean? Like, why would you go play?
He wasn't going to win anything with them, was he?
Yeah, that for me, he bang on there.
By the way, before you get started, Josh, we're recording at 9:45 on Sunday evening. This comes out tomorrow. By the time this comes out, will Ange Postecoglou still have a job at Tottenham Hotspur? Because they got knocked out of the FA Cup by Villa this afternoon.
You know what? Yeah, I keep saying every week this guy's gonna get sacked, and he doesn't.
Every time.
I think he's gonna get sacked, but he's probably gonna keep his job.
Yeah, he probably will. He will, definitely. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. What was your choice, Josh?
This guy, right, was always injured, right, and he gave us 2 full seasons where he got a couple goals, and we literally carried this guy, right, and he left. You know, it's Van Persie or Van Pagan, whatever you want to call him. That guy, that one really hurt me because I was like, he was like our next Henry at one point. He was loved by everybody, you know, and then he just left us United. Like, come on, man, you know, why go United?
As soon as he joined United, what does he do?
Score against us.
Yeah,
and wins the league. And top goal scorer. He is the ultimate. Why on earth did we let him go? Like, how much was it we let him go for again? It was not much.
Like 16. Yeah, so it wasn't a lot.
20 or 25 million, I think it was at the time.
Something along those lines. Well, it was less than the Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain fee. We know that much.
Yeah.
I think it was like 16 or 18. It was very low. It was very low.
Right, hang on. We're going to
RVP went for
sale price to Man U. Right, let's find out very quickly. £24 million.
Wow.
24 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Signed a 4-year deal. Said it's an honour to play for a club like Manchester United. He was at Arsenal. How dare he?
Yeah.
How dare he?
I think what was funny about it as well, I think afterwards, I read Wenger's book. After his stint at United, he wanted to come back to Arsenal. And Wenger was just like, "You're too old," and we explored different options. And I'm like, "Yes, well done."
Yeah. That is correct. That's the correct thing for him to do. I mean, it was the ultimate middle finger for him to do that well there, wasn't it? It just wasn't on.
Yeah.
Which means there's one forward spot left. This is one that I struggled a little bit more with. I had a couple of thoughts, maybe. Marouane Chamakh, he was not particularly liked. Raheem Sterling has been pretty hated in the short stint. I do have another one, and Craig, I'd love to get your opinion on this. Kai Havertz.
Oh God.
Did you have any other names, Craig, that you want to sort of throw into the forwards list?
I would say Oxlade-Chamberlain, the way how he left Arsenal to Liverpool. I would say him.
Really?
I would say him because the way how he left was not very pleasant. Right? I thought that Arsenal offered him a new contract and everything, and he demanded to Arsenal when he wanted to leave and go to Liverpool.
That's true. And
And
scored an absolute banger against us in the FA Cup for Liverpool.
yeah, I think he played the week before he got sold as well against Liverpool. We lost 4-0. I remember that game at Anfield.
Yeah.
He made a mistake as well, a couple of mistakes, and then they scored. When Salah ran from the halfway line and scored a goal. I think, yeah, so I kind of felt I liked him at the club. He was a good player at Arsenal. He was getting better and better, and he just left. He was injury prone as well, and he just left the club. But I think the Havertz one, the jury's still out. The jury is still out.
I mean, we're slowly turning against him on the. Some of us are slowly turning against him. Some of us hate him anyway. Well, not hate him, but think he's just rubbish. What about you, Josh? What about you? Do you sort of agree on the Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain line? Or would you rather bring in Alex Song and have 4 midfielders in there?
Oh, it was a tough one. Chamberlain's one, the way he did leave it was a sour taste. So was Song. It's a hard one, you know.
There's another one I remember now. Nicholas Anelka, where he left Arsenal.
That's it.
That's it. I knew we're missing somebody. Yeah, well done, Greg. Well
Nicholas
done.
Anelka, yeah, I remember the way how he left Arsenal when he had one good season, won the double in '98, and then the next season I think he scored a lot of goals. And then the next season he decided his brothers, his agents decided he wanted to leave. So
yeah. I think that's an excellent shout. And it means that our first 11 of the most hated Arsenal squad is done. In goal.
There's one mention I want to, because this team needs a manager, right?
Oh, yes, it does.
It needs a manager.
Yes, it does.
And there's one guy in particular that I don't like, before my time, but he did the biggest betrayal, and that's George Graham.
I mean, that's a big shout, Josh.
You managed Tottenham. You managed Tottenham. No, I'm sorry. He's got to be him. I know some people say Wenger, right? But Wenger did give us some of our best years and some of our worst years.
It cannot be Wenger. It can't be Wenger. And yes, Graham did admittedly go on to manage Spurs in '98 to 2001. He did. He didn't give us Sol Campbell though.
and he won the trophy, and he won a trophy for them as well. So even worse. So.
Oh gosh, yeah, he did, didn't he?
He won the League Cup with them, '99.
Yeah, the League Cup,
99. Yeah, the League Cup with them. So,
well, do you know what? I was going to leave manager out because I felt quite happy about all of the Arsenal managers, but no, Josh has given us a good shout. George Graham, you're the most hated Arsenal manager. Despite the fact of being sold historically as one of the most popular ones, you're the most hated. To hell with you. I nearly said something completely different to the hell with you. Getting too relaxed. I'm not on it. So, that is the most hated Arsenal 11. The manager of this team, George Graham. In goal, Manuel Almunia, with a back four of Emmanuel Eboué, Laurent Koscielny, William Gallas, and Ashley Cole. In midfield, Granit Xhaka holding the base with Samir Nasri and Alexis Sanchez just ahead of him. And then up front in a forward three, Emmanuel Adebayor and Nicolas Anelka flank Robin van Persie. I don't know about you boys, it's actually quite a good squad.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Apart from Almunia, it's a good team.
Yeah, he's the only really crap player in there, isn't he, really? So, this is the big question then, gents. The final thing that we had to ask, I think we might have an answer already, but of that list, who is the most hated Arsenal player of all time? Craig.
Probably Adebayor.
Oh, God, yeah.
Adebayor, man.
Yeah,
Adebayor,
probably
Van
Adebayor.
Persie, them two, man. I think Adebayor the most. I think the way out Van Persie left was still upsetting to this day because he was our club captain as well. Like it was like
Yeah.
Adebayor was our club captain, and it was a massive Arsenal fan. And it was an Arsenal fan from youth, from a young age. It was not like he was not an Arsenal fan. And Arsene Wenger picked him up when he had a lot of trouble in our final. There was getting into a lot of trouble, and when he first got to Arsenal, he wasn't really starting a lot of games. He was kind of getting mentored by Dennis Bergkamp and whatever, and then. I thought he would be that he was the number 10 as well when he left before he left Arsenal. I thought, yeah, this guy was going to be a legend for us. And the way he left, went to United, I won the league for them as well, and he got a standing ovation as well. I remember that game; it was hurtful, man. I stood up the TV after.
I think if we had a top three, the most hated would be Adebayor.
Yeah,
I think personally, in terms of the fandom, Ashley Cole would be second.
Van Persie.
And then I think Van Persie would be third.
Yeah.
And they would be the most hated Arsenal players and the most hated Arsenal 11, which is what you have just listened to on the Daily Arsenal podcast. We hope you've enjoyed this outpouring of rage and disdain. I'll be honest, from my perspective, that felt quite cathartic. I don't know about you boys, but that felt pretty good. We hope you enjoyed listening. We're not 100% sure what we're going to be bringing you for the rest of this week. There will be a crossover with Leicester towards the end of the week, and we'll be doing a preview on the Friday. But until then, just keep your eyes out for the Tuesday and Wednesday episodes. They could be anything. Until then, I was your host, Josh Vince. They were Craig Matthews and Joshua Duncan. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back very soon. Till then, take care and goodbye.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.